Have you ever wanted to speak English confidently, but something stopped you? Maybe it was fear. Maybe it was the thought, what if I make a mistake? Maybe it was the voice in your head saying, people will laugh at me. Today, I want to tell you a story, a simple story, but a powerful one. This story is about a boy named Arjun. Arjun was a quiet student. He lived in a small town where most people spoke their local language. English was only used in school, and even there, students were afraid to speak it. Arjun loved listening to English. He watched English videos. He listened to short stories. He even practiced speaking alone in his room, but in front of others, he became silent. Whenever the teacher asked a question in English, Arjun knew the answer. He really did. The words were in his mind, but his heart started beating fast. His hands became cold, and he thought, if I say something wrong, everyone will laugh. So he stayed quiet. Day after day, this happened. One day, a new English teacher came to their school. Her name was Mrs. Mira. She was different. On her first day, she did not open the textbook. She did not start grammar. She simply asked the class a question. Who here wants to speak English confidently? Every student raised their hand. Then she smiled and said, Good, now tell me, who's afraid of making mistakes? Slowly, almost every hand went up again. Mrs. Mira laughed gently. That is the problem, she said. You want confidence, but you're afraid of mistakes. Confidence grows from mistakes. The class was confused. How can mistakes give confidence? The next day, she gave a small activity. She told each student to stand up and speak for 1 minute about their favorite food. No preparation, just speak. When Arjun's turn came, he felt the same fear again. His legs were shaking. His voice was weak. He started, My favorite food is rice and curry. I like to eat it every day. Some students giggled. Arjun's face became red. He wanted to stop. He wanted to sit down. But Mrs. Mira stopped the class and said loudly, Clap for him. The whole class clapped. Arjun was surprised. The teacher said, Did he make mistakes? The class said, Yes. She smiled. Good. That means he is learning. Then she looked at Arjun and said, You were brave. That is more important than perfect English. That day, something changed inside him. For the first time, Arjun understood something important. Making mistakes is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign of effort. After that day, Mrs. Mira made a new rule in the class. No laughing at mistakes. Only learning from them. Every day students had to speak for 2 minutes. Sometimes they made grammar mistakes. Sometimes they forgot words. Sometimes they used the wrong tense. But something beautiful happened. They stopped caring so much about being perfect. And when they stopped trying to be perfect, they started speaking more. Arjun began practicing every day, not only in class, but everywhere. He spoke to himself in English while walking. He described what he was doing. I am opening the door. I am drinking water. I am going to school. He did not worry about grammar. He just spoke. At first his sentences were simple, but slowly they became longer. One evening, he decided to speak English with his friend Ravi. Ravi laughed at him and said, Why are you speaking like that? You sound funny. For a moment, Arjun felt hurt, but then he remembered Mrs. Mira's words. You were brave. That is more important than perfect English. So Arjun smiled and continued speaking. After a few days, something surprising happened. Ravi started speaking English too. Why? Because confidence is contagious. When people see you trying without fear, they feel inspired. Months passed. There was an English speech competition in school. The topic was, "My dream for the future." Arjun wanted to participate, but the old fear came back. What if I forget my lines? What if I make mistakes on stage? What if everyone laughs? He almost decided not to join, but then he asked himself one question. What is worse, making mistakes or never trying? That question changed everything. He wrote a simple speech, not very complicated, not full of difficult words, just simple, honest English. On the day of the competition, his heart was beating fast again, but this time he did not run away. He walked to the stage. He started speaking slowly. At first his voice was shaking, but after a few sentences, he felt comfortable. He forgot about the audience. He forgot about mistakes. He focused only on his message. And yes, he made a few small grammar mistakes, but nobody laughed. They were listening. When he finished, the hall was silent for a second. Then everyone clapped loudly. Arjun did not win first prize, but he won something more important. He won confidence. After that day, speaking English was no longer a fear. It became a habit. Years later, Arjun looked back at his journey and realized something powerful. The problem was never his English. The problem was his fear. Fear of judgment, fear of laughter, fear of not being perfect. But here is the truth. Nobody speaks perfect English from the beginning. Even native speakers make mistakes. Even teachers make mistakes. Even great speakers make mistakes. The difference is this: confident people do not stop because of mistakes. They speak, they learn, they improve. If you are watching or listening to this right now, and you are afraid to speak English, I want you to remember Arjun's story. You do not need perfect grammar to start. You do not need a perfect accent. You do not need big vocabulary. You only need courage. Start with small sentences. Speak slowly. Make mistakes proudly, because every mistake is proof that you are trying. And every time you try, you grow stronger. Imagine this. 1 year from now, you are speaking English confidently. You are talking in interviews. You are making new friends. You are sharing your ideas freely. That future version of you is not created by fear. It is created by action. So from today, make a simple promise to yourself. I will speak, even if I make mistakes. Say it again. I will speak, even if I make mistakes. Remember, English is just a language. It is not a measure of your intelligence. It is not a measure of your value. Your voice matters. Your ideas matter. And the world deserves to hear them. Step by step, he learned something powerful. Mistakes are not enemies. They are teachers. And now, as we come to the end of this story, think about this carefully. Arjun did not become confident in one day. He did not wake up one morning speaking perfect English. He became confident because he decided to speak again and again, even when it felt uncomfortable. That is the real message of this story. Confidence is not a gift. It is a result. It is the result of small daily efforts. It is the result of speaking even when your voice shakes. It is the result of choosing courage over comfort. Remember how Arjun almost did not join the speech competition? If he had listened to his fear, his story would have ended very differently. He would still be sitting in the classroom, silent. He would still be waiting for perfect English. He would still be afraid of laughter, but he chose action. And that choice changed everything. In the same way, your story is still being written. Right now, you may feel shy. You may feel nervous. You may think, my English is not good, but that is exactly where Arjun started. The only difference between the old Arjun and the new Arjun was one decision: I will speak anyway. So let this story end with a simple truth. You do not grow when you stay silent. You grow when you try. You grow when you fail. You grow when you speak. From today, do not wait for perfect grammar. Do not wait for perfect pronunciation. Do not wait for perfect confidence. Start imperfectly. Speak in your classroom. Speak with your friends. Speak in front of a mirror. Speak while walking alone. Every sentence you speak is a step forward. And one day, without even realizing it, you will notice something beautiful. The fear that once controlled you is gone. In its place, there will be confidence. Just like Arjun, you will stand tall. You will speak clearly, and you will no longer be afraid of mistakes, because you will understand something deeply. Mistakes are not the end of your journey. They are the beginning. So take a deep breath, open your mouth, and start speaking. Your confident future is waiting.